So another good thing to do if you just want to stay loose and not really, want to spend a ton of time stretching. I don't really like to stretch. I don't know. It's kind of boring for me. But I can move pretty well, and a lot of that is because the way that I train promotes good motor control and movement options, as I'd like to say. I made a video on squatting. If you can do a squats, hang out on the bottom, rip a couple breaths, stand up, change positions, maybe using your arms, rip a couple more breaths. That's a great way to loosen your body up. And if you try that, you'll feel that you do really kind of expand from the inside out and kind of break away some tension. There are some other things that I like to do though to kind of promote my range of motion or my feeling of looseness, right? And one of them is just not sit on the couch very much. That's kind of classic sitting or whatever is the new smoking. But beyond that, sitting in a lot of different positions on the floor. One of them is actually just kind of going into this positions like Seiza, I think, or I don't know if that's pronounced correctly, but it's kind of like the way that they would sit in Eastern cultures or in Japan, namely. And essentially, like you just kind of come down onto your knees and you sit on your heels. With my hips underneath me, this used to be kind of painful for me to do, especially on the tops of my feet. I know a lot of people complain about them having knee pain doing it. But over time, like by just putting a pillow underneath my butt and then like sitting down, I felt like a lot of looseness become a little bit more apparent, and especially my lower back and into my thighs and into my feet, which is really enjoyable to appreciate. And then another one that I really like to do too is just like what I've heard called like the world's greatest stretch amongst a bunch of other different things. But that's essentially just like kind of going into like a plank position, right? And then taking a lunge, keeping one leg nice and long, one leg nice and supported, and then just taking that same side arm as the front leg and just exhaling. I like to turn my thumb down and in, and then you know, 10 or 15 of those after doing like a Wim Hof or something as a warm up just to kind of get my body hot really kind of provides me with all the mobility I would need. For the other side, just rip it up here. So those are just like two ideas, just sitting a little bit differently or like changing positions often, and then just, kind of finding in a position that gives you a lot of bang for your buck. And that one I just showed here, the world's greatest stretch, you get hip separation, you get rotation through your trunk, you get arm movement and your breathing. All those elements combined do a really good job of kind of keeping you loose. Furthermore, I think that like the last biggest tidbit that I have found kind of, through my practice and through my personal practice, my physical therapy practice, and then also my strength and conditioning and working with clients is that don't try too hard. That's probably like the biggest thing is just don't try too hard. Just stay loose. So when I tell someone to stay loose, I don't mean, like work hard to get your arm around your body, but literally try to move it as gently as possible. And then I'll often, it's like that fine control without an overemphasis on, strength or muscular contraction that really kind of breaks away some of that stiffness. So give that a shot and see what you think. It's one of those things where, sometimes just like being smoother, trying to smooth things over ends up being a little bit more effective than just holding some prolonged stretch for a really long time, like hoping that, your tight muscles are going to get looser. Not likely. I think it's more of a up here thing. So be loose, try different positions, and have fun with it.